Level 1. The applicant. You apply online like everyone else. There's a form on the CIA website. You fill in your name, your education, your work history. You click Submit and wait. 6 months later, you get an email. They want to interview you. You fly to Virginia on your own dime. The building looks like any other government office. Fluorescent lights, bad coffee. A man in a gray suit asks you questions for 4 hours. Then comes the polygraph. You sit in a chair with sensors strapped to your chest, your fingers, your arm. A technician asks you questions while monitoring your heart rate, your breathing, your skin conductivity. Have you ever committed a crime you weren't caught for? The machine can't actually detect lies, but you don't know that. You sweat, you stutter, you tell the truth, because you're terrified of what happens if you don't. 3 weeks later, you get a letter. You've been accepted. Welcome to the CIA. They send you to Camp Peary, Virginia. The locals call it the farm. 9,000 acres of woods, swamps, and training facilities surrounded by fences and armed guards. For the next 18 months, this is your home. You wake up at 5 a.m. You run 5 miles before breakfast. You sit in classrooms learning about foreign governments, terrorist organizations, and intelligence tradecraft. Tradecraft, that's the CIA's word for spy skills. You learn how to spot surveillance. There's a car that's been behind you for 3 turns. There's a man reading a newspaper who looked at you twice. There's a woman on a park bench who was at the coffee shop this morning. You learn to see patterns that civilians miss. You learn how to lose a tail, duck into a department store, walk through 3 floors, exit through the loading dock, hop in a waiting car, and disappear. You learn how to pick locks, crack safes, plant bugs, and photograph documents without being detected. You practice on real equipment. The safes come from embassies, the locks from government buildings. You learn how to recruit assets. That's their word for convincing people to betray their countries. You study psychology, manipulation, persuasion. You learn the 4 motivations: money, ideology, coercion, and ego. Everyone fits into one of these categories. Your job is to figure out which one and exploit it. The washout rate is 40%. Some people crack under pressure. Some can't handle the deception. Some are too moral for this work. The people who make it aren't necessarily the smartest or the strongest. They are the ones who can think on their feet. They are the ones who can lie convincingly to anyone, including themselves. They are the ones who can compartmentalize. You graduate in the top 15% of your class. They give you a badge and a cover identity. You are now a CIA operations officer. Your first posting is an embassy in Eastern Europe, a former Soviet bloc country still figuring out whether it's going to be an ally or an adversary. Officially, you're a political attaché. Your name is on a diplomatic list. You attend diplomatic functions in uncomfortable suits, making small talk with people you're secretly evaluating as potential targets. You shake hands with local officials and remember everything they say. Your first recruitment takes 8 months. He's a mid-level bureaucrat in the foreign ministry. He has access to diplomatic cables. He has gambling debts. You approach him at a casino. You buy him drinks. You become his friend. You loan him money to cover his losses, then more. By the time he realizes what's happening, he owes you $50,000. You don't ask him to betray his country. You ask him to share some documents, just a few, nothing important, just enough to pay off his debt. He agrees. He has no choice. You now have an asset inside the foreign ministry. You're offered something different, non-official cover, NOC. It's the most dangerous job in the intelligence community. You won't have diplomatic protection. You won't have an embassy to run to. If you get caught, you're on your own. The CIA will deny you exist. The State Department will deny you exist. The President will deny you exist. In some countries, that means prison. In others, it means a bullet in the back of the head and an unmarked grave. They build you a legend. That's their word for a fake identity. You're now a businessman.
You work for a consulting firm that doesn't actually do any consulting. It's a CIA front company with real offices, real employees, real clients. None of them know who you really are. Your neighbors think you're a management consultant. Your girlfriend thinks you travel for work. Your parents think you quit the government years ago. The only people who know the truth are your handlers back at Langley. You are completely alone. They pull you out of NOC work after your cover is almost blown in Beirut. They offer you a new path, the Special Activities Division, SAD. This is the CIA's paramilitary arm. The most elite unit is the Special Operations Group, SOG. These are the people who go where the military can't go. They do the jobs that are too sensitive, too deniable, too illegal for official armed forces. 6 months of the most intense military training on the planet. Your first mission is in Afghanistan. You spend 3 months living in a mud compound in the mountains, eating local food, growing a beard, wearing local clothes. You call in drone strikes on compounds where terrorists are hiding. Sometimes the intelligence is good. Bad people die. Sometimes the intelligence is wrong. Other people die. Women, children, people who are just in the wrong place. You try not to think about the times it's not. You can't afford to. You have another mission tomorrow. After 5 years in SAD, you're promoted to team leader. You run your own unit now. 8 operators, 4 paramilitary officers like yourself, 4 contractors who used to be special operations forces. They make 3 times your salary, but you make the decisions. You're responsible for the mission. You're responsible for their lives. Your team is deployed to Libya during the civil war. Gaddafi is falling. The country is chaos. Your mission, locate and secure chemical weapons before they fall into the wrong hands. You spend 6 weeks in Tripoli while the city burns around you. You operate at night. You raid weapons depots, kicking in doors, never knowing if you'll find empty rooms or armed guards. You find 3 caches of mustard gas, 15 tons of chemical weapons that could have killed hundreds of thousands of people. On your last night in country, your convoy is ambushed. One of your men is killed. 2 are wounded. You carry one of them half a mile to the extraction point while bullets snap past your head. The helicopter arrives. You get out. The mission is classified as a success. You write letters to the families of the dead and wounded. The letters are lies. You can't tell them what really happened. You can't tell anyone. You've been in the field for 15 years. Your body is breaking down. They offer you a desk job, but not just any desk job. Chief of Station, COS. You're now the senior CIA officer in an entire country. Every operation, every asset, every piece of intelligence flows through you. You manage 40 officers. You manage hundreds of local assets. You meet with the ambassador every morning. The politics are exhausting. You approve operations that could start international incidents if they go wrong. You kill operations that could produce valuable intelligence but carry too much risk. Every decision is a gamble. Every success is classified. Every failure ends up on the front page of the New York Times. You sleep 4 hours a night. You haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. Your marriage ended during your second tour in the Middle East. Your kids are grown now. They don't really know you. They need someone to run a facility that doesn't exist, a black site. It's in a country that will deny it's there. Inside, there are cells, interrogation rooms, medical facilities to keep the prisoners alive. The prisoners are high-value detainees, terrorist leaders, bomb makers, financiers. They were captured in raids across a dozen countries. They never appeared before a judge. They have no lawyers. As far as the world knows, they've vanished. Your job is to extract intelligence from them. Enhanced interrogation, that's the official term. Sleep deprivation, stress positions, temperature manipulation, waterboarding. You tell yourself it's necessary. You tell yourself the information saves lives. Some nights you believe it. Some nights you lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if you're still one of the good guys. You run the facility for 2 years. When you leave, they give you a commendation that will never appear in any record. You're back at Langley now, the building you first entered 25 years ago as a nervous applicant. Now you walk past the memorial wall with 139 stars for officers who died in service. Some of them were your friends. Some of them died on operations you planned. You run an entire division of the National Clandestine Service. Hundreds of officers report to you. Billions of black budget funding flow through your accounts. You brief the president on covert operations. You sit in the Situation Room at the table with the Secretary of Defense and the National Security Advisor. You recommend targets for drone strikes. You authorize operations in countries where we're not officially operating: Syria, Iran, Pakistan. You sign off on activities that would be war crimes if anyone ever found out. You testify before congressional intelligence committees, but the real briefings happen in closed
sessions with no transcripts. You give them plausible deniability. The operations continue. You retire after 30 years. 30 years of secrets. 30 years of operations that never happened. There's a small ceremony in a conference room at Langley. 50 people attend. The director gives a speech about your service to your country. He talks about sacrifices. He talks about the price of freedom. You receive a medal, the Distinguished Intelligence Cross, the highest award the CIA can give. It will sit in a box in your closet because you can't display it. You can't explain it. You can't tell anyone what you did to earn it. You move to a house in Virginia, far from the city. You don't have many friends. The people you worked with are scattered around the world or dead. The people you knew before the agency are strangers now. You can't tell them where you've been for 30 years. You can't explain the scars. You can't explain why you wake up at 3 a.m. and walk the perimeter of your property looking for threats that aren't there. You are a ghost. You did things that your country needed done. Things that would horrify most citizens if they knew. You carry that weight alone. You'll carry it until you die. And when you die, there will be a star on a wall at Langley. No name, just a star. One more anonymous sacrifice in a war that never ends. Somewhere in a college dorm room, a young person is filling out an application on the CIA website. They're dreaming of adventure. They're dreaming of serving their country. They're imagining Jason Bourne and James Bond. They have no idea what they're really signing up for. They don't know about the loneliness, the moral compromises, the things they'll see that they can never unsee. They don't know that this job will hollow them out and fill them back up with secrets. But they'll learn. They always do. The cycle begins again.